What's going on, Workforce? Brian here, and in today's video we're breaking down some FanFest rumors, some hopes, some fears, some predictions. With FanFest not too long away, I am really looking forward to it, getting really hyped, and hopefully be able to see you out there. If you're going to be able to make it, feel free, if you see me, say hi. I'd love to say hi to you and get your thoughts about the game as well. But with this video, we've got a lot of little subjects. We are going to somewhat tap into a little spoiler territory towards the end of the video. We'll be sure to clearly label and warn you before we get into that. If you finished pretty much the 4.3 story, you're going to be golden. We're not going to really ruin too much, or hopefully anything at all for anybody. But at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that I am very sensitive to anybody who has not finished the story, because we're going to get into some predictions based off of where we think the game is going and the hints and everything they're providing. Again, towards the end of the video, I'll try to mark it also in the timeline. So if you guys are curious, you'll have some some way to jump and catch up if you have caught up to the story and want to come back and watch this video before FanFest. There's going to also be parts of this FanFest predictions video that ties into FanFest overall. I don't think we're going to get all of this information, obviously, at the Las Vegas FanFest, but you still have Europe and the Japanese FanFest as well. That they tend to like to save things for certain things. So every FanFest is going to get a big reveal or a hint, and then the next FanFest is going to show off a lot more information. With that, we do know from a scheduling perspective, it kicks off with a keynote, just like every FanFest so far. For those of you who are curious what that means and have never been or have never seen this, this is where Yoshi P gets the stage. He has pretty much an hour. He's going to talk to us about FanFest, not FanFest. He's going to talk to us about 5.0. It all starts with the letter F. So there we go. Final Fantasy FanFest 5.0. So with that, it's going to open with a trailer, and it's going to be really cool to see the fact that we're in November. Last time they said they kind of cut it a little bit short from a trailer perspective to finish it up, and so we're going to see that. Now, in 3.0 to 4.0, 3.0 didn't have any job reveals in the trailer. 4.0 ended up actually having those job reveals, but they weren't revealed to us out at Las Vegas. They were shown to us later at Europe and in Japan. So that is what it is. Job predictions might be more of a hint, but so we're going to talk about what I'm thinking is happening. But first, so we said we have the the keynote. Then we've got a developer panel with the guy with the ultimate. Now, after 5.0, there's going to be questions and Q&A, and then that's going to probably be hinted at there. The following day, Yoshi P usually does a Q&A about 5.0, and then after that, they're going to do the live letter, which should be talking about 4.5 and the content. That's kind of the kickoff the version 1 from 4.5. So there's a lot that's going to be packed in there. There's a lot of 5.0 information that is going to be thrown at us, especially over the next 9 months. So just be ready. And then obviously all this is in development. So what they say and what it ends up being could always change between now and then. But let's talk about the rumors that have leaked. So next subject. So we haven't really covered it on this channel, but there were this summer, and actually going into the summer, the Blue Fever leaks talking about how Blue Mage would be a job that would be coming to the game before the expansion. And in my mind, especially coming off of the Is Final Fantasy XIV Dying video, a job that was mid-expansion is a big task. It's a big undertaking. It's something big. It's what I feel like they're working towards. I think they're working to a lot of big things. That's my hope, and I'm trying to keep my expectations in check, because essentially I only am hurting myself if I let my expectations run wild, and I'm setting unimaginable expectations for them to be able to get, and that's not fair on the developers, and that's one of the things that I'm trying to make sure that I'm cautious of. But the Blue Fever leaks have been proven so far. Pretty much they've been accurate. Now, they said that patch 4.4 we would have seen the blue job, which we didn't, and I felt like 4.4 was pretty lacking when you look at the historic 0.4 patches. With 2.4 we got Ninja. With 3.4 we got the Wondrous Tales, which was amazing content. 4.4 we didn't get a new job or any kind of system that kind of refreshes all the other content that we have in the game, and so it seems like maybe they were targeting that, but obviously with the job that can be kind of challenging. New rumor time, though. It is rumored that essentially, as a part of the pre-order of 5.0, you'll be able to play Blue Mage early. Now, some people have speculated that this means that you can only play Blue Mage if you pre-order, and that seems very anti-consumer, very anti-Yoshi P's vision for this game. To play it early as an incentive to pre-order, I could see them actually doing that, where if you don't pre-order and you get the game, then you have Blue Mage, because if they locked it behind a limited time window, that would be ridiculous in and of itself. But as a pre-order bonus for something that seems kind of almost strategic, it actually is not necessarily too, disappointing, because as far as a pre-order goes, I don't think you actually pay for the whole thing up front, but maybe I'm wrong there. But regardless, if you're excited about the game, you're going to be getting 5.0 anyway, and you pre-order to get early access. Imagine early access of a new job in 5.0. That would be insane. That would also be something really big. That would be something that would definitely bring me back, because I love mages, and Blue Mage being in one of those kind of jobs that are really interesting. Obviously, for this is all rumor speculation, so this could just be the hopes and wishes of a fan community that wants to see this job in action. We'll have to see where that goes. Now, the other rumors that kind of tie into that is that we'd see 3 jobs with 5.0. The amount of work that they've done in that regards constitutes something big. If they brought in 3 new jobs to this game, that would be huge. We've already got 15 jobs as it exists right now. That would take us up to 18 jobs. That means 18 jobs with 5.0, because system changes, battle system changes are going to be coming absolutely. With that, that's, it's not that they're adding 3 brand new jobs. It's that how do all the jobs interact with each other? So it's going to be a lot of work as it relates to that. I don't know if I feel like we're going to see 3 jobs. So I'm not behind that. It would be great if they did, as long as those 3 jobs really felt cool and interesting. But I guess we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But the rumor was like some kind of soldier or some kind of gunblade type, obviously Blue Mage, and then Dancer. And as Dancer as a healer, I think that'd be really quite fascinating as well. So how do those all weigh in together? Well, we'll have to wait and see how close these blue Fleaver leaks end up being, and we'll go from there. So with that, next subject. So speaking of jobs, what do I think that they're going to do with 5.0? What do I hope they're going to do? Predictions-wise, Blue Mage and Dancer. I think those are the most popular jobs that the majority of people want. Yoshi P has always stated that he wants to give players what they want. Blue Mage, though, he's always kind of been on the fence. So if he does deliver on a Blue Mage job as it works in the world of 14, that would be fascinating. Personally, I've always hoped for a tank. Now, the rumors tend to kind of lean that it's a DPS caster melee, DPS caster kind of hybrid, almost red magey, maybe more in than out as the Ray Mage goes. So you're more melee and then you jump back and do something. I don't know how that's going to work. Hopefully it does not feel like, kind of a carbon copy of that job. Blue Mage. Wish it was a tank. They're not going to tell us what job it is. So we're going to get new jobs. And I guess if they are doing a pre-order bonus or anything like that, and it is coming before the expansion, then yeah, I think they're going to talk to us about that job. In fact, that actually would solve one of the problems that a lot of people at FanFest have and have had for a long time, is that we only got to get hints. You kind of really let us know, because it's like every time you come out with a shirt, my voice cracks. And then every time you come out with a shirt, we're like, we kind of figure it out, and then we have to wait a couple months before it's confirmed, and then it's like, okay. So if they actually did that, if they brought 2 jobs with the expansion and Blue Mage early, they could actually reveal Blue Mage at FanFest, which would be amazing. I'm sure there would be much rejoicing within the Final Fantasy community as a whole, and maybe then we could actually get our hands on with it. Dancer, I think, is essentially a must. We all thought Dancer was coming from the Stormblood reveal. We're like, oh my gosh, Dancer, but no, she's a monk. And I think Dancer would be a really nice addition to the feel and flow of the game, especially from a kind of a frontline, melee healer. Having gone back and played a little bit of Dancer and Blue Mage in Final Fantasy XI recently, it definitely does make me feel like these are jobs that could really, I think, fit in this world. It just all depends on the execution, I guess. So, all right, those are the jobs that I think are coming. Obviously, if we get that 3rd job, meaning 2 with the expansion, a gun type class, a Beastmaster type class would be something I want. But obviously we've seen kind of little hints of Genomancer as well as some type of healer. There's a lot of different ways we can go in that direction, and we did actually put a 5.0 kind of job prediction video up already, so I don't want to spend so much time on the subject. I'm really curious about what do you want, not what do you feel is coming, because at the end of the day, like, it's all changing in my mind. Like, until they actually tell me what's coming, it literally could be anything. Yoshi P's kind of hinted at arithmetician and things like that, things that he would desire to be able to try to build into this game. But he's, as the producer and director, he tends to really try to listen to the community and deliver on that. And so we'll have to see what happens. I mean, it's really going to be exciting. I'm curious to think, do you think they're going to reveal any jump to us at 5.0 at the reveal? I'm on the fence that if we only get 2 and it's Blue and Dancer, he's going to come out in some kind of Mega Man shirt or something. I'm calling it now. If he walks out in a Mega Man shirt, you're going to hear me in the audience go, "Called it." We'll have to see what happens with that. So love to know your thoughts. Love to have that conversation with you about this. But I'm really leaning towards Blue Mage Dancer. If Blue Mage ends up being true that it's early, then it's really anybody's game as to what the third, aka second job of the expansion might be. But I'm very much looking forward to it. Next subject. So gameplay-wise, we've seen this happen before with 4.0. He talked about bringing on guest creator for the 24-man raid. So obviously we're going to be getting a new 24-man raid, and we'll be getting a new 8-man raid. With the reveal of 4.0, they did show off that. They showed that it told us it was going to be a mega. We were starting to already get hints of that in the story. Now, if they're already giving us hints as to what the next raid might be, I have not caught on to that yet. But as story-wise goes, they're really trying to set themselves up for something bigger. We're going to talk about that in a minute because that starts to cross into spoil territory, and we're not there yet. Anyhow, I think essentially when I look at what this game is lacking in my personal desire for what systems it offers is some kind of world versus world PvP, PvE type content. Hey, Brian, I don't like PvP. I totally get it. PvP systems in this game seem to be lacking. They went and invested in the MOBA aspect. Obviously, Battle Royale being the big thing right now for a lot of players. But I don't think Battle Royale makes sense, obviously, in a Final Fantasy game. However, I would say Battle Royale has already existed in these type of games for a while. And it's something like in the terms of what Elder Scrolls Online does, what the terms of Guild Wars 2 does. Pitting servers together, fighting it out over the course of a week or a month or whatever, attacking various strongholds, capturing various things, also being able to do PvE content in the zone, and then everything that you're doing is contributing to your server's overall success. Kind of, we're a community, but we're also somewhat slightly in competition. I think that would, when they announced some bigger PvP type content at the 4.0 reveal, this is what I was thinking. I was thinking that this is the direction they were going. We got Rival Wings. Rival Wings has come and gone. And now pretty much PvP kind of just sits out there. Now, I'm personally a fan of PvP. And one of the things that I think people often ask for with this is that we get some type of open world PvP. And when I look at what like WoW BFA has done with their war mode, when I look at what other, when you think about it, it's that you don't want to be just running around and just getting destroyed. So it would have to be some either form of opt-in where you're doing the world, but I just don't think that fits within the world and what Final Fantasy is trying to be about. However, server versus server, tying it into this whole multi-sharded Hydaelyn, effort, Warriors of Darkness. Like, you could easily do a lot of fun things with it, allowing you to queue in, allowing you to participate by crafting, gathering, and either fighting other players or doing some PvE style content as well. That all seems very interesting, and then having it tying into the overall health of your server's shard. That, I think, sounds interesting to me. That sounds like something that I would like to be able to participate in day over day, week over week, month over month, because it's always changing, it's evolving, it's fresh content. And if you don't like PvP, well, then you don't go engage. You can go in and craft and gather and do various defenses, stuff like that. Obviously under the risk that you could be attacked, but who knows that. Anyway, again, that's crossing over into the wish list, what I think Final Fantasy XIV is lacking in terms of content as it exists. And voice cracking, it wouldn't be a Work To Game video if my voice didn't crack every now and then. New dungeons, obviously, raids, like we said. I'm curious. I don't really know what to sit here and say about what the next 24-man raid would be, or what the next 8-man, raid would be. The last raid was more of a trial. We weren't running into like a dungeon or didn't have any kind of trash fights. It was just, here's this boss rush mode as a part of it as it goes. Hopefully we get to see something a little bit more depth. Hopefully we get to see something that ties more into the story. I don't want there to be, they've kind of talked about this in the past about having some kind of step between normal and savage. I do not want that whatsoever. What I'd like to see is some kind of a scale up system as it relates to the dungeons, because we're going to be sitting here, if you think about it, even if they gave us 7 or 8 or 9 new dungeons with the expansion, because you have your leveling dungeons, and then you have your, your capped dungeons, we're going to be sitting on 80 or 90 dungeons within the game, and the majority of that's not going anywhere. So hopefully they sit down and talk to us about some kind of dynamic scaling up system, some ability to challenge these dungeons that we have at level cap and allow that to level up. Yoshi P's talked about Diablo 3 being a really big influence, and that he's really enjoyed that game, and that I'm wondering if he's pissed about the Diablo Immortal situation. Maybe we'll ask him when we're out there. But outside of all of that, I'm hoping that he can look at the Torment system and seeing how that could be evolved, the Paragon system, how it could be applied into 14, just to really kind of give some meat and potatoes to it. Now, people might hear Paragon and think, that's game breaking. We've talked about it at the root of it. Just give us stuff that makes XP worthwhile. That's kind of where I'm hoping we get to see with 5.0, that we get to see these systems that take advantage of the vast amount of amazing content that goes unloved. But anyway, but I'm curious, what would you think would be a good 24-man raid? What would be a good 8-man raid? I think from a guest creator, they can really pull from a huge list of previous, Square Enix titles, as well as just various creators they've worked with in the past. Who knows? Like, they went with Evil East, so having a Final Fantasy, theme. The theme, I think, of this one being Final Fantasy VII. You could see something with the weapons. You could see something with Sephiroth. You could see something with, just some rooted core with the live stream. That could be interesting. I think, some kind of live stream raid. Then they could really just kind of go crazy with the story and the bosses and stuff like that. All in all, it's going to be interesting, so we'll have to see how that goes. So, with that, let me dance a little bit. We're going to be talking a little about spoilers, so just be warned. If you're still watching this video, thank you. We're going to dive into some spoiler territory. We're talking about races. We're going to be talking about what we think is going to be happening with the story and how it relates to 5.0. So, let's do it. Spoiler alert! Yes, okay, so I think the Viera is coming. Now, I think when somebody in the Discord messaged me saying, if you believe that crazy YouTuber that, 4.5, batch 4.45 is introducing the Viera race, that's not what I said in the video. I said that model kind of looked like, oh my gosh, it made me think Viera. I'm wondering if that's some kind of hint or preview. We've already seen the ears, so 4.3, when the trial fight, she grows the ears, and so we got some Viera ears, we got some bunny ears going on. Obviously tying into Namaska and tying in those ruins and those relics that she used. So, all right, I'd say her name, but I know I'd butcher it, and then people call me out in the comments. But all right, so we've seen that. We've also seen artwork. We've seen literal concept art by Yoshi P talking about how the Viera, both male and female. I'm showing that to you guys on screen right now. All these hints put together, I think it's obvious that we're going to be getting the Viera race. I hope I'm right. Personally, this is one of the races that I think I would really love. Some of the comments have said Moogle, Tonberry, things like that they'd love to see, and I'm with you 100%. I'd love to see that we could play those races. I don't think we will, based off of how they've set up the system of Final Fantasy XIV. That would take either a lot of work or a whole redesign, or really probably the next Final Fantasy Online game. Personally speaking, I think that'd be really cool and interesting as it relates to Final Fantasy. But neither here nor there. I think Viera are the best. Now, I think they're not just the best, but I think they're the most viable. Now, is there going to be a male race of them, or are they just going to have a female-only version of it? And what if you put on the bunny ears from the Golden Saucer, like double ears or something? Who knows? I think they make the most sense. I think from the hints that we saw, because the Viera were considered to be a part of the, instead of the All Raw, they were considered for 3.0. We did not get a race in 4.0. So I think the challenges with the feet and the heels, I don't know if they could always just change that. This could always be the 14 version of the Viera. I think that makes the most sense. They don't have to be exactly like they were in 12. But, honestly, I think doing as much justice to the fan service as what they should be. Should there be a male version? I think so. Otherwise, I think you would see 2 races, and you would see a male-only race to counteract that. We'll have to wait and see. Now, from a lore perspective, they typically tie into, why are we not seeing them yet? Why have we not seen their faces? Why have we not, seen them in game? I'm thinking that's where the artistic hint from 4.45 showing off that we've kind of seen it. We've seen the bunnies. They're leading us in that direction. But lore-wise, they're typically a race that's, hidden. They don't go out and about. They, ostracize, I guess, if they leave their wood, their clan or what have you. Maybe 2 kinds of clans for them. just like with how the current clan system works. You have a race and you kind of do clans. That kind of determines your visual aesthetics. So that's why I think from a male and female, it makes sense to kind of have that aspect from it. You can make that work in the world of 14 because this is a different game. They can kind of fix the lores the ways they want to, the lores, because yeah, that's good English, good English. So that's honestly where I'm leaning. If they decide to do something else, obviously that would be cool. If we don't get a new race, it's going to kind of feel a little bit thin because 4.0 didn't get a new race. And it just kind of feels like having a new race, not that we have to have it with every expansion, allows for a lot more diversity and a variety, especially because people have been asking for it. And that goes back to the Blue Mage and Dancer. So story-wise, we've all seen hints of Dalmasca. We've seen all these little hints with the Calamity, and that kind of ties into the last subject. And the last subject being a Calamity is on its way. I honestly think now people are like, no way, they're not going to do a 1.0 to 2.0. I don't think it's going to be that big. I think that we're still going to have a Calamity, which allows them to, you know, reset or retcon a lot of maybe the beginning parts of the game, a lot of the beginning zones, really kind of bringing the whole world together, feeling alive. But who knows? They could really do something big. We know this because that's kind of what we've been hinted at with the 4.4 story. We see this as we go forward to 4.5. We're going to wait to see how that kind of plays out from its own perspective. Putting it all together, bringing it all full circle. The crystals, they're empty. They have these empty, non-aspected crystals. We've seen that with 1.0 to 2.0. I don't think we should stop it. I think it should be something that allows them to redo the opening zones, big changes to the overall system. I think that this is when we see the classes make a, kind of a bye-bye classes, hello jobs, kind of approach where all the new jobs are just jobs anyway. There's no class that's associated with it. And then being able to see kind of battle system changes. The question that I have is that does this mean the role action system is dead? Does this mean that we're going to see that kind of go, bye-bye and replaced completely with something new, which would be probably the shortest lived system that they've had as a part of, as a part of the game as a whole, from the best of my knowledge, because it didn't even last the whole expansion before they had to ultimately change it. Are we going to get some system that gives us more player illusion of choice, or are they just going to say, because with the with the cross roll, you still have to turn them on. You have to go and equip them, and they could say, well, I guess we're keeping cross roll, and you just get those abilities across these shared jobs and stuff like that. I think server-wide adjustments are absolutely a must. When we talk about Eureka, when we talk about some of the content that that isn't fully fleshed out, it's that everything's gone in the way of the instance, and I think what they have to do is really kind of shift that back into more open world type content, not as the core or the crux of the game, but as a way like with Eureka that the servers are filled, the zones are filled. If you guys go run around in the open world, I think 1 in 100 chance I actually see another player right now. And that could be just the nature of where the game is at the moment, but the zones are typically kind of one and done, and then we bring a Beastman tribe, and then they do that. Obviously, from that perspective, 2 Beastmen, 2 trials, a lot of the same old, and I hope that 5.0 is a way that they can kind of, refresh it with the world, refresh it with the player base. But we're going to have to wait and see. At the end, I think we're going to see a Calamity. I think it's going to change a lot about how the game begins and starts. I think that's a good time for it. If we don't see it, I think 5.0 is going to be literally about the Calamity, about this thing that's going to happen. And whether it happens mid-patch, mid-cycle of 5.0, or sometime, what would be really, really interesting is that if it doesn't happen at 5.0, but it happens at like 5.1, like 4.5 into this, oh my gosh, like da-da-da, and then 5.1, and then boom, guess what? All this stuff has changed. I think lore-wise, I think story-wise, I think system-wise, 5.0 gives us the ability to change the vast majority of this game. In positive ways. Like we look at these systems, a way to refresh these things, a way to, we look at the beginning of the game. The game is bringing in lots and lots and lots of new players. And I think one of the hardest things is that core game because it does really open up at level 50. Anyway, it would be a lot of work. It would be a lot of effort. It ends up being that question of, is this the big thing that they've been working on? I don't know. But we're going to find out here in a couple weeks. And I'm excited. Like I said, guys, my name's Brian, and if you guys see me out at FanFest, be sure to say hi. We're going to be doing and hanging out at the Limit Break Radio after party on Friday after all the big events and reveals happen. And then we got Saturday, lots of fun things to do. Come say hi. I'd like to say hi to you. Thank you guys for being here, really being a part of this community. and then tell me and call me out when I'm wrong. I love it. I like to, I like to know the best arguments for and against what you're thinking. So I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for the conversation. We've got a little bit more Final Fantasy stuff, some guides coming out before FanFest. And so that's what I'm going to be working on this week. I'm looking forward to getting those out. Looking forward to your feedback on this video. Hopefully you enjoyed my silly kind of style of editing. I thought I would kind of change it up, make it a little bit more fun, hopefully a little bit more entertaining as I spout out history, prediction, and also kind of hope what I want to see. So anyway, guys, for Work To Game, my name's Brian. Thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you have a fan-freaking-tastic day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Oh, excuse me. What's up, workforce? Chuck here, telling you should totally like, favorite, subscribe, share, dance, raise your hands in the air. I'm off camera. I'm off frame. I'm new at this. Hey, listen. Yes. You haven't hit that subscribe button. You totally should. I recommend it. Chuck approved. Anyway, also, thanks to all the Patreons. You're in the corners. Whoa!